Two-man game, TMG, get the news fast, AMG, game of two boxes. Name two boxers that hit as hard as this. Yeah, we're cutting to the truth, no, there ain't no narrative. Eyes up on the cup this year, hear the stadium erupt this year. For my team, TMG.
TMG back again. TMG back again.
Another one.
You know what this is? Episode 35.
What episode do you want to call it?
KD.
Why do you want to call it KD?
Because you know what he was doing in 35. You know what he was doing in number 35.
Oh, that's KD's number.
Yeah.
You forget,
Yeah. You know about guy. Okay. The most unstoppable player in the NBA. When healthy.
Yeah, that's what Dame Lillard was saying recently. Arguably when himself is the best guy in the NBA.
Giannis said something similar in that ilk as well. And I think that's a good place to start. Let's talk NBA then, you know. Who is the top five unstoppable players? I just want a quick one before we get into that.
Today?
As of today for this season.
Top five unstoppable players. Okay. Unstoppable means offense, essentially.
Yeah, basically offense. I'm not talking defensively, because if we want to do defense, I've got a list for that as well.
Not just defense. I'm talking about, when I say he's the best player, I'm talking about obviously all around. But unstoppable, when people mean unstoppable, they really mean offense.
Yeah,
so obviously KD. I'm gonna go Embiid, LeBron. Put my guy Jokic up there, and the fifth one. Steph Curry, Steph Curry's dues.
Okay, unstoppable. I'm going to put KD, LeBron, Embiid. He's just such a big a guy. Got all the unstoppable moves. I'm going to put Steph, because that 3-point shot is just unbelievable. And my fifth one, I'm going to put Luka. Show me that he can make difficult shots and at difficult moments. And that's why I'm putting him in a list. Honorable shout out to Jokic, which I believe, not that he's unstoppable, offensively, he's got all the skills, but I just feel like if you put a big with length, such as AD, it really does bother him. So that's why I wouldn't put Jokic in that list. But I do believe Jokic can get his shot off. It's just that there's some discrepancy. Like, there's some people that can kind of bother him.
My honorable mention would be Kawhi. I think about putting him in. His stocks dropped a bit, but don't worry, he's gonna come back.
Kawhi unstoppable. All cylinders. I would. The thing is, the reason why someone like Giannis is not on this list is because Giannis doesn't have the consistent outside shot.
Yeah, we've seen what Giannis can and can't do, especially when it comes to the playoffs. You put that ball up, it's long. I mean, hopefully the inside shot and the post moves improve to a certain level that will make him a threat. And you know, when people have to honour his shot, and also they have to guard against him coming to the rim, and he poses so many different diverse options, it becomes very, very difficult. So, Giannis, I still have a lot of Giannis stock in. So we're still banking on him to improve in those regards. And, he's still in that 26, 25, so.
Two more honourable mentions, Booker. I think Booker can get his shot off in a lot of ways. He goes to that mid-range shot, got a consistent outside. I know sure about him finishing at the rim, but that mid-range shot in the modern NBA is not a shot that many people bring out. I really do respect that. Tatum as well. Tatum's got the full offensive repertoire. Just needs to put it together more consistently on that Celtics team. And then maybe Zion, Zion there. He's just a rim attacker, but he's so good at the rim that I have to it's like how Steph is so good from three that it makes up for him not being maybe a finisher at the rim, or he's not good. He's not that. I don't really trust him going in with the trees.
Dunker people, but you can finish under.
He's not Kyrie.
He's very good at finishing at the rim, but not Kyrie. Kyrie's in a different level, but Steph, especially the guys below the rim, 6'3" and under, 6'4" and under. Steph is very good at finishing at the rim.
I would say that Zion's finishing at the rim is just as of the level of Steph's from three, basically. That's how good a finisher at the rim Zion is.
Probably. I mean, one guy we haven't mentioned is Dame Dollar. He's right up there.
Oh yeah, Dame's got the offensive repertoire a bit.
Big dog. What
big.
You know about that?
Yeah, man. Dame's there, man. Maybe in Portland you overshadow him, man.
Bradley Beal as well.
Nah, I don't really respect Bradley Beal like that.
He might be back-to-back scoring leader.
But Bradley Beal in the clutch, have you seen his numbers? He's got some awful clutch stats. Especially this week against the Dallas, the shot he got up for a player of Bradley Beal's quality should have done better.
Interesting. Speaking of one of the guys that we both put in our top 5 of unstoppable guys, some guys, some people call him the GOAT, some people don't call him the GOAT, some people call him the whiniest, some people call him the whatever,
Stat padder.
The stat padder, the politician, this, that. As Mr. LeBron James. Last week, he's come back from injury. Then he's gone back into injury. I mean, what are your thoughts on LeBron over the past week and a bit? And the Lakers as well.
He came back in fair because he knew the playing tournament, that's extra games. That's not the total you need to come into the playoffs with. And the Clippers is looming as well if he gets a poor seed. LeBron shouldn't rush himself back. I don't really think seeding should even matter to the Lakers. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to play the toughest teams. It might as well get them early. It is what it is for the Lakers. You're the defending champs. I think people are more afraid of you than you should be afraid of any other matchup. To be honest, LeBron needs to just get fully healthy. But the ankle injury for someone like LeBron, that is a big impediment because his game is predicated on going downhill with pace, being a freight train to the rim. And if we can't do that, we're getting jumper LeBron. And you know what, jumper LeBron, not really that consistent. So I would be afraid if they lose that and then a lot of onus would be on AD, and AD is not
trustworthy.
He's not trustworthy at all. He's not a consistent. He's not a consistent. He's not a consistent factor. I believe. And AD and Drummond, I saw some of the numbers. Their net rating is awful when them two on the floor together.
Yeah,
they get into each other's spaces.
Drummond can't space the floor. He can't space the floor, and he's really bad finish at the rim for a big. Got very poor stats for a big at the rim. So what does Drummond bring to the table? Rebounds and scoring.
It's a rebound and scoring, but defensively, he's there to bother. Well, the matchup where you need a big four is Jokic, I would say.
Yeah, but he's not really a good defender.
He's athletic though. He can bother. That's it.
He's athletic for his size and he's big, but he's not really a smart defender, a witty defender. Like someone like Marc Gasol, even though he hasn't got the athleticism, he can bother someone like a Jokic, and he's bothered someone like an Embiid in the past because he's smart. He knows all the angles. Like he can outwit you. He can second guess you. That sort of thing. AD, this season's been a down season for him. Obviously, the injury compounded that. But even before the injury, he wasn't really playing his best ball. I mean, the lack of break from the finals, he's been on record the least amount of break from a poster finals in any sport in NBA history, apparently. Well, in American sports history, maybe even world sports history.
Yeah, just American sports history, I would say.
But, he wasn't shooting really well from the field. He's averaging 23, 22, 21 points, something along those lines before his injury. I mean, but yeah, this was kind of seen as a season where they wanted AD to take the mantle. LeBron's going to pull back a bit. Like, as we said, AD's not trustworthy. Whether it's health, whether it's just being the guy that has intangibles, like leadership skills you would want from some of his quality, ain't really there. Like, for example, there used to be comparisons, especially before he went to the Lakers, like someone like AD and Giannis. And AD skill-wise has more skills than someone like a Giannis. But AD wasn't able to uplift his Pelicans to be a better team than they were. Of course, the West Coast Conference was a lot more loaded than the East over the years, but basically the Pelicans should have been a lot better than they were. Apart from that one season when they had Drew Holiday, Rondo, and Cousins, and they got bounced by Golden State, obviously. But
AD's not an alpha.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't have the alpha mentality, the intangibles which an alpha has, which he can pour into other teammates to make themselves better, to make you and your teammates better. Giannis does have that to the degree. He can make the most of his team, even though he hasn't been able to go to the upper echelon to be the best player in the world and take his team to the finals as of yet. But the Bucks are still, because Chris Middleton as a second stars goes.
It's quite a blah kind of star.
I mean,
he's got great shooting numbers though.
He's a great shooter. I mean, Chris Middleton's weird because he has very good skills. I don't know, but there's something missing. Maybe it's a little exposure of athleticism or something. But because he's a smooth shooter, he's a smart player, decent handle, good length.
You just don't want him to be the main guy.
What's it called? Yeah, very good shooter, like I said. But just something is missing from him. Like I think maybe maybe it's a bit of intangibles, maybe a bit of athleticism, because he's kind of clutch, apart from sometimes in the playoffs.
Actually, in the playoffs, I remember that series against the Celtics where it was just shooting the lights. It was like shooting like something like 70% from three.
What do you like to take him to the next
He's
level?
a complimentary superstar. That's just it.
No,
There's a level of people that are like complimentary superstars.
No, but because you've compared to other secondary superstars in the league, like
Maybe his handle is not.
Compared to AD, compared to like someone like a Kyrie, a PG, people still put PG above him. Those guys, like he's seen as a level below those guys. Even what Jamal Murray was doing in the playoffs recently.
Does Middleton have takeover ability? Does Middleton put fair into you? Like Middleton has all of that, but he doesn't take it upon himself. It's quite
mild.
He's mild mannered, and he lets the game go by him. He plays in the flow of the game. You know, he doesn't take over the game. He doesn't take the game to the opponent, which is something you kind of need to be a superstar. He's a great complementary star. And there's some people that's just what they are. Like Paul George, we tried and put him in a role and typecast him as a superstar, but we know what he is now. He's a complimentary star. He can't be the main man.
I mean, before the injury, he was on track to be one.
Yeah, before the injury, but things like this happen. In fact, look, AD might be seen in history as a complimentary star. If he doesn't do it by himself, he'd just be one of the ultimate ones. Like Scottie Pippen is the ultimate complimentary star. And there's just some people that are just for that role.
I mean, where do you put the likes of KD? Is he complimentary or is he proper superstar?
It's a superstar, man. It's a weapon. Absolute weapon.
He's a weapon. Him and Kareem, they're different category of weapons. It's strange. I mean, I feel Middleton lacks that tenacity. To take him to the next level. I mean, he doesn't really have the superstar level gear. I mean, most complimentary stars, aside from maybe a Pippen, they don't really have. They have that at times, that superstar like level to go up to. Whether it's even though it's from a limited amount of time, they can push that gear. Middleton, apart from that, maybe that one game against the Heat where he went for like 30 and he managed to nick it, but it's very extremely rare that you see him initiate that gear. You know, because when you have the car, obviously you're driving, you're on drive, but put that thing in sport. He doesn't really have that. He can go up to gear 5, gear 6, gear 7, whichever your car is, but he doesn't have that put in sport gear.
Does Middleton will you to win? Does he? He doesn't will you to win. He doesn't make his teammates better. That's it. Yeah. That's
probably the main thing.
Yeah.
But going back to the Lakers, you know, they lost 8, they lost 13. Had a big win against Denver, which many people thought they were going to lose, especially with LeBron being out for that game, so he's be out for the next 2 games. And they missed the game against the Clippers as well, which is going to be today. Later on today.
He's missing the Suns game as well.
And the Suns are straight after the Clippers.
It's something like he's missing the Portland game.
It's a big game.
And he's missing the Suns game because I heard he consulted with an ankle doctor, so he's taking a rest. Well, he's got 2 weeks. Well, and if they end up in the play-in, in fact, I think the play-in might even be better for their season because you would rather want Phoenix and Utah in the first round. I know that's just my opinion. I don't know how.
I heard he's missing 2 games. So
there was reports today that he's seen the doctor. He's not rushing him back. So.
Damn. LeBron needs to be healthy. I mean, so much on the line for him and his boys.
He better be healthy because for NBA playoff ratings, it's very important that the Lakers make it.
The ratings are all-time low anyways, apparently.
It's because of streaming and all of these things. He better make the playoffs.
Oh, that is a big factor. Because people are they're discrediting LeBron. They're blaming LeBron for the lack of ratings, saying blah, blah, blah. It's political, too, polarizing, affecting the ratings, you know. And they were saying that, obviously, in the time where everyone's been staying at home more than ever, obviously with the pandemic and that, they should, you know, naturally be watching more games and the ratings should be higher. But like, apparently the ratings for the NBA Finals weren't that great.
Yeah, because it was around NFL season. But you're just taking, this is what people need to understand. You're just taking into account the American numbers. You're not taking into account eyeballs around the world. Yeah. And people around the world are watching TV. Access in sport now is so different to what it was in the past. You can watch any sport in any different type of media, and the ratings haven't caught up to that because they're just looking at TV. How many people really sit down and just watch something off the TV? You sometimes use your phone, sometimes you're using your laptop. You're watching football. You're watching sport for so many different type of media. I think every sport's like viewing figures are down though. Is it not? Like, is it not happening? Like, they're not taking into account everything, which is very, very surprising in this technological world that we're not looking at all viewing figures. And then, for example, it's easier than ever to just watch sport illegally.
Yeah. I mean, it's very smart that you point it out because they do need to take that into consideration. I mean, like you said, back in the day, if you weren't watching on TV, you couldn't get anywhere else. Like you said, there's laptops, phones, blah, blah, blah. Like maybe that's why boxing and MMA, they still do very good pay-per-view numbers because if you want to, obviously you can still stream it, but if you want to get the highest quality, like, it's not going to really lag like that. You're going to go to the pay-per-view and buy it. Whereas, what's it called, basketball, football, whatever, you can still get Sky Sports stream to your laptop and to your phone and still have the same quality as you have on your TV, sometimes even better quality. But they don't take those numbers that are streamed off the TV, which is something they need to do to catch up, with the numbers.
There's definitely a way for them to block illegal streams. I'm sorry. If you're losing so much revenue to this, why don't you have dedicated teams to block these websites? You are a multi-million-dollar company. You should be able to find a way. You should be employing people that should be able to track these websites. You're just losing revenue. That's just pull from you. Employ someone for 35k that'll save you 2 million. That will save you 2 million. It's just cost effective.
They're gonna have to pay way more than 35k.
Just to find a data analyst to look at this, that someone just to surf the internet to see where the illegal stream is. It's not hard. Just type in free Premier League football. I'm sure you can check about 3 or 4 streams.
Maybe shut down 3 streams, but when you shut down 3 or 4, another 3 or 4 come up.
Yeah, but that's it. Your job should be evolving. There should be someone. If you really, really care about the revenue you're losing, why are you not making an effort to stop that?
I'd like to think they do have someone, because if they don't, that's just malpractice on their side.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of malpractice.
But
Don't shut down VIP League.
VIP what? I don't know what that is. But, So on basketball, the Knicks, New York City basketball is relevant again. People say it's the mecca of basketball. It's relevant again. The New Yorks have a winning record. The Knicks have a winning record for the first time in, I believe, 10 or so years, or not 10 years, 7, 8 years, probably since when Carmelo was there. They're right now going to be 4th in the standings in the East. He's going to have home advantage at least in their first series. I mean, like I say, I believe the record's like 36 and 28 or something along them lines. They've won, I believe, 13 of the last 15 games. Could we see a Brooklyn Nets match up? I mean, talk to me.
They get blown off the floor if they see the Nets. But what the Knicks have done is they built correctly. They built right. Mm-hmm. They haven't gone out and just got an aging superstar. Mm-hmm. They haven't done what they've done with previously when they got Carmelo. They mortgaged their whole team. Mm-hmm. Then they did D Rose, Taj Gibson, and they got the aging superstars. That didn't work. And what they've done is just rebuilt it with hungry young players that have a point to prove. Like Elfrid Payton, he's got a point to prove in this league. Julius Randle bounced around the league, got a point to prove. RJ Barrett, they don't really talk about him that much from his draft class. So there's a lot of unproven guys or guys that needed to prove a point. And Thibodeau, he works them into the ground. Thibodeau's a good coach. Like, he got Minnesota to the playoffs, something they haven't achieved in such a long time. Mm-hmm. And Chicago were constantly challenging Cleveland and Miami at that point. So Thibodeau knows what to do. Like, he's a hard-working coach. Obviously, he does wear thin after a while, the way he coaches. Like, he does drive the players into the ground, like what he did to Butler. And D Rose, like, he was playing them some crazy minutes. So it happens, but they do need a superstar. There's talks that the superstar might be asking out of his contract to go to the New York Knicks in the long run, and whoever that superstar is, it's got a chance to be blossom, bro. It could be the biggest star in American sports to go to New York. And win.
If you win in New York and you're a superstar in New York, especially for the Knicks, that's gonna amplify your status, your standing, like tenfold. Is gonna be so much. Why this team was on the back foot? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just looking. I was thinking, nah, this is disgusting. You need a goal, bro.
But yeah, I mean, who's that superstar gonna be? I mean, do you not believe in Randall?
Talks of Lillard.
Lillard
wants out. To be fair,
where do you see that? I heard that
Chris Haynes reported. Shout out Yahoo Sports. Shout out Chris Haynes. Good reporter. I actually like a lot of the stuff he does. Got the air to the ground, and he's saying that Dame Lillard is saying that he does. There's talks, there's whispers. I don't know what it is. It's just that it doesn't. There's no path for Portland. Like, Portland have reached their peak.
Yeah,
And once you reach your peak, there's not very much. What can they do to get better? If they lose this season, what's the move? There's a lot of teams like if they lose this postseason. If they lose this postseason, what's the move? So trade CJ. Who do you get?
I don't know.
There's only one trade that works. I've worked out the trade that works.
What?
If you manage to get CJ and trade CJ for Ben Simmons, it works for both teams. You have to put another piece in.
Like CJ and who?
I probably have to put maybe Covington and something like that. You have to put a piece in the first round.
Ben Simmons and Thingy could work.
Ben Simmons is not. Ben Simmons is taking less shots. Ben Simmons regresses as an offensive player each and every year. Obviously, his defense is high, but this is not what we envision for Ben Simmons. There's a lot. What Ben Simmons is right now, he's not a superstar. He's nowhere near a superstar. He's just about an all-star. And so we're going to have to start questioning what is Ben Simmons? Like, what's his goal? What does he want to be in this league?
They're going to be it's going to be a traditional point guard, I guess.
Is he going to be a traditional point guard?
Elite defense.
Boy.
You know what I mean? But a traditional point guard in this league doesn't really work. Unless you have shooters all around you. And Joel Embiid, even though he can shoot, he's shooting really well this season, you don't want Joel Embiid spending most of his time on the perimeter. You want him in the paint, in the post, causing damage. At least you want him to give you a healthy doubt both.
How can Simmons be a traditional point guard in this NBA where three-point shooting is so important? He doesn't shoot.
Well, I don't see a potentiality for his shooting to improve that drastically right now. I mean, I just don't see it right now. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but right now the way his trajectory of his shooting ability is going, it's just stagnant. Even probably like you said, even declining. So he needs to flip that script. He needs to turn on his head, and he needs to trend upwards in terms of his shooting. Because if he doesn't, the only thing he can do is become a traditional point guard. But with the Knicks, number one defense in the league, Knicks defense, Ben Simmons. The culture is strong. Like you said, Thibodeau's built a very, very strong culture. How long will it last? Because Thibodeau, he's good with a certain type of player, a certain type of star. But I don't think he's really good with the guys who have like an ego, superstar, those type of players. And if those players develop into one, which I don't really see at the moment, but in New York, stuff can get to your head. People can start speaking to your ear. People can start thinking they're the shit right now. I like to see like how long that can last. It's like Thibodeau has like in his teams is like it's like a time limit. It's limited. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's an expiration date at the end.
He needs guys that haven't made it yet already. Yeah. That's the issue. That's what's normally happened is that when he has a guy that's made it, maybe he can't resonate. He doesn't have that.
Can't connect.
Can't connect with those kind of players. So the Knicks is a perfect situation for me personally. If Randall's your main star player, I just like. Well, then what? How long can that last? Like Randall's he's a good player, but
if you can sustain this form, and then obviously you're gonna have to hope you can develop the younger players like Barrett and who's the other rookie they got at the guard?
Quickly.
Is it Quickly? Oh, I think he's
topping. No,
is Quickly at there thingy? Or is it at Clippers?
Quickly is the young guard they bought from Kentucky.
Someone like that. They're gonna need to hopefully improve, get a few good pieces in trades and free agency, and then because like someone like a little comes in who's a star, big time star, not a superstar, but big time star, has an ego. Is he gonna really buy into what Thibodeau is saying?
The thing is, though, with the East, you've kind of got this thing where Embiid is going to be in Philly for a long time.
Yeah.
You've got Giannis, and Giannis is set in the Bucks for 5 years. We know the next experiment has got another year. Regardless of whatever happens this year, they'll run it back next year. So, is there ever going to be a window for the Knicks to actually be the team in the East? Unless... What player can you get that's going to be better than Giannis or better than Embiid for the next 5 years?
It's true. I mean, you probably won't get the one individual player would be better than those guys, but if you can put pieces around those guys, the sum of the parts is bigger than the individual parts. So the sum of the parts is bigger than the individual parts. So hopefully
the Celtics are close. In fact, the Celtics are probably closer. The thing with the Celtics is this: outside of Brown and Tatum, not many of their players contribute, and the Kemba signing actually worked against them because they didn't know that Kemba wasn't going to be fit. So I would say let's say for the next 5 years, where do you project them to be? Like, where would you rank them? Like, what's their future? Have they got the 5th brightest future or the 4th brightest future for the next 5 years? Is it all dependent on them getting a superstar?
I mean, in the East, they can stay around this kind of level. 4th, get to conference semi-finals in a good year. Maybe if someone's injured, maybe get to a conference final. But it really depends if they're going to max out those individual younger players and see if they can actually improve to get to the next level. If they can. But obviously the Knicks, I'm not sure about their cap space situation.
They got a lot of cap space.
They got a lot of cap space. Can potentially sign a big free agent, which can potentially take them to the next level. And if they can, obviously I don't think they'll potentially get someone as good as Giannis or Embiid or a KD, but they're going to need star players to put around their current team and, see where they can go from there. I mean, it's very interesting. We'll see what they can do.